Hi there.
Good evening, Paul.
Hi, well, let me just turn my sound up on the other. There we go. I won't be getting feedback now. Hi there.
Yeah, you've got quite a few. You've got quite a few in already. I've only got a couple, but hey, Sharon and Jeff's in with me. Good evening, Jeff. Sharon.
Evening, Jeff. I noticed your name popped in. I didn't know what queue you were in, but I realised you're in Bobby's. So,
Good old Bibby's in.
Jeff wants to know where's that spanner come from.
I know. I don't know what's happening with my spanners. I don't.
Stop throwing them out, matey. Hey?
I'm not as technical as you.
Oh well.
Evening, Bibby. Kelsey, Kinky Killer Noxie. I take it you've changed your name for good now.
Well, there you go.
Oh, Kelsey's. Look, Bobby, have you got your settings to make everybody a mod by mistake? I'll have to have a look, Kelsey. Thank you for that. I'll have a look at see if that's the case.
So, is everybody okay? Or do you want? Anyway, let me just say, as the stream frozen or not?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, because mine has on my not on me, not on this what we're on, Bobby, but on my channel-y one. Might be just my PC because it's shite. Yeah, there you go. It's running again now. Yeah, so good evening, Bibby, Kelsey. I nearly said myself then when I saw my name in the thing. KKK, Sharon. There you go.
Well, I've just changed the settings, so let's see what's happened anyway. So how are you this week, Paul? Okay?
Yeah, I'm cracking, mate.
You've got some cracking pictures behind you.
Yeah, I've had a good weekend, really. I've met some new people, or new to me anyway. And
all right.
My son came to see me on Saturday, and yeah, so it's been quite a good weekend, really.
Good.
Yeah, picture in the background is a little pub in Harrogate. And I can't read what it says at the moment. Just move my head. I'll move my head. What's that say? Charles's Place?
Charles.
Yeah. Well, it didn't used to be called Charlie's Place. It used to be called the Salt Box. And what it was, that was the first pub that that me, my brother, and a couple of other people got because we set up a company called Premier Public Houses. And that was the first one of, I think, 28 or 30 pubs that we had in the stable. That's why I keep saying, I was in that pub and I was in that pub and I wasn't. I maybe wasn't in the pub, but I knew them. If you see what I mean.
And that was called the Salt Box when
that one was called the Salt Box. Yeah.
And do you know reason why it was called Salt Box?
Yeah, I do actually. If you look on the picture and to my right, that window, behind that window was a small bar, because it was only a little place, but behind that window was a small bar. And on the far wall, there was a recess. And it was the place where back in the days, way back in the day, they used to put the salt. It was in a box. And because you could use salt for lots of
there were a lot of uses for salt.
Lots of uses for salt, and it could be used as for transactions and all that kind of shit.
It was a big use. A big use of salt was
chips.
To preserve things. It preserved lots of things in salt, didn't it?
Yeah, I used to bath in it. That's why it looks so good. No, baby, there were no fights in that pub. I can honestly tell you. We didn't have fights.
Baby, Harry posh around here.
It's very. The clientele was very, very posh because the houses around it was one of the posh ends of town. So there were no bumping into people.
It does look a bit run down now, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know really. It just looks the same as there as it did to me, but I
Right.
know it wasn't like that when I was there.
No.
But anyway, I couldn't find I did look for a photograph of when I was there, but I couldn't find it, so I found this one online. Anyway, but no fights, no stuff like that, and I was at a younger age, so there were definitely no fights. But yeah, so that's the story of that.
Bibby's asking, is the balcony for a flat above the pub?
It is, yeah. The balcony. When I was there, that the balcony, those two windows was my bedroom,
Right.
and the windows to the right above my head, that was the office, and then behind there was a couple of other bedrooms. So, yeah, that's what it was.
Very good. Very good.
In fact, I've had to climb up that drain pipe on my right at the corner. I've had to climb up that once or twice to get onto that balcony to get into the pub when it was locked.
And you were the landlord?
Yeah.
That's not setting good standards, is it?
Well, no, but I used to come home. I used to come home pissed out my head. So,
for those that don't swear, he means a bit merry.
Yeah. Well, a bit more than merry, really. But yeah, so I've been up that drain pipe a few times onto that top, but we never used to have it like a balcony like that. Sit out and all that kind of stuff. Bit too posh. Didn't have time anyway. Too much to do. But, yeah, so that's the story of that little place. I can't remember what year it was where I took that. About 1990, I think, something like that.
And the picture behind you is North Yorkshire, I believe.
The one above our head, you mean?
Yes, yeah. On the background.
Yeah, and I can't pronounce the name of the place.
Anybody got an idea from the picture?
Anybody got the name of it from it?
It's obviously a ruin.
It is. It's an abbey up in North Yorkshire, and it's up near. What's that big hill in North Yorkshire? Sutton Bank.
Bank.
If you go up Sutton Bank, right at the top, on your left-hand side is this abbey, the ruins of this abbey. I can't pronounce it, but it begins with an R. Anyway, there you go. So that's
right.
That one. It was the only picture I could find that. As I say, I've had a bit of a long weekend, so
well, as I said earlier, my week's been eventful. I don't want to put a down on things, but as I told you earlier, I lost two uncles in 3 days. But as we were saying, Paul, it's as you get older, there's more funerals and christenings.
There is.
There is. And I had a little chat with Paul about, families and how they are. And my family's got quite a unusual story. And then I listened to Paul, and his is totally off the chart.
It's stratospheric.
I mean, God knows how he managed to do a
with difficulty, Bobby.
What do they call them?
A family tree.
A family tree. God knows how. Where would you start? You're not going to get past the second generation, are you?
I can tell you where I started. I started on what I knew, and what I knew was what was on my birth certificate. That's what I knew. So, of course, my birth certificate told me who my father was and my mother. So I went from that.
Yes, but then you pick up on rest of family, and from what you've told me, you don't get past second generation without three sheets of paper.
No, you do. well, on mine, you get because my mother was my mother, basically. We could go well back on her line because I've gone back to 1475, I think, on my mother's line. However, on my father's line, I went going back and went, "You're not peeing in a tin there, Bobby, are you?"
Oh, I've lost my picture, haven't I?
Ah, I just thought you were doing something that you shouldn't have done.
Picture's gone off. I'm going to have to sort that out. Just a second.
Anyway, but
I'm listening.
But I've forgotten what I was saying, but there you go. Yeah. So, of course, because I thought my father was who was on my birth certificate, I researched him and I went a long way back on his. But, I think we're having a bit of a nightmare somewhere.
Just a minute, I'll come out and come back in.
Just bear with me. There we go. So anyway, Bobby's having problems. I think he's trying to piss in a tin. Because he suddenly went blank. I don't think I should have said pissing in a tin, really, should I? Okay, I'll be back in a moment. I can't make that picture any different because I don't know how to do it. Bobby does. There you go. I'll make it a bit smaller.
There we are. I'm back.
Oh, it's back. There you go. Yeah. So,
apologies for that.
No, you don't have to apologise. Yes, Bibby. That's what that was. I was implying that, mate.
Don't you encourage him, Bibby?
I was implying that when it went off, but but there you go. It's all a bit of fun, isn't it?
I went to put the light on and I ended up knocking the camera off. Come on now.
Well, you know, how long?
Go.
Oh, bloody hell!
There we go. I went to put the light on and knock camera off because I've got one of these bloody USB hub or something.
Yeah.
Because I've got that much plugged in, you need an extension.
You do. You certainly do. I had a line there and it went.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No. You said something and I had a line to come straight back on it, and it's too late now. If you see what I mean. Because,
anyway, back to genealogy.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I say, I went a long way back on what I thought was my father. So then when I did my DNA and find out that the father on my birth certificate wasn't my father, well, you know, I went from having, I think, 450 people on my paternal line to having none.
Right.
Overnight, basically. But then, of course, when I started doing DNA and I started finding my paternal line, which I have done, I got the first one I found was my great grandfather, who was a Viking because he's Danish. And then from there, I found my grandfather, which was, you know, one of the sons of my great grandfather, if you know what I mean. And then to find my father, he must have come from my Danish grandfather. And I know my Danish grandfather only had 3 sons. So of those 3 sons, one of those is my father. I'm your father, Luke. Oh, no. So, and that's basically how far I've got, because, you know, the Danes are not quite forthcoming with information. I have found a first cousin whose father is one of those three brothers, but right. She won't answer any questions. You know, I've emailed her and said who I am and, you know, what I'm doing, and she just wrote back, said, "No, we're not telling you anything." So there you go.
Yes,
they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell
families.
You.
It's families. Well,
it can come as a shock, can't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
and
know,
families are so different in many ways.
Yeah, every family's different.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my great grandfather came from Wales, Abergavenny in South Wales, and he brought his wife and daughters and son all the way to Bradford, West Yorkshire, because of the work. Because back in the early turn of the century, last century, as you know, Bradford was it was the wool exchange of the world. There's a place in Bradford called the Wool Exchange, and they used to come from all over the world to do business there. And there was plenty of work in Yorkshire and Lancashire with the wool, in the wool trade, textiles, mills, and they came for that. My dad's a Yorkshire, Yorkshire. That the family's totally from Yorkshire. They're born and bred in Bradford. My surname is actually, if you check back, it does actually come from Bradford. It's a Bradford name. So it's deeply set in Bradford. Is my
You're
father's
not
family.
called Patel, are you?
Hey, you're not allowed to say that anymore, Paul.
Sorry.
No. So as everybody has, you tend to, we all come from different areas and mix and match. Because
we all have different backstories.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah, of course we do.
And the biggest regret, I think, and if I say the biggest regret, it might not be really, but one of the regrets I've got is that I never asked my mother anything, any questions.
Yeah.
I didn't ask questions.
Yes.
Then when she died, and of course, then I thought, right, I'll go and ask questions now. So I went to a couple of aunties and uncles who were still alive at the time to see if they could give me some ideas on my mother. And of course, they kept quiet. They wouldn't say anything. So I had to dig and dig and dig to find my mother's story.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I've done. I found my mother's story, and I don't hide it. I've written a blog on my mother with her life story.
Mhm.
It's online, so it's not. Nothing's a secret. I just can't see the point in keeping secrets nowadays.
No.
Really.
Bibby's asking, Grandad, how much does a DNA test cost?
Around about 45 quid.
And how does that work? What do you have to? Do you get a pack? You send off for a pack?
Yeah. It's depends which one you go for, really, because there's lots of different DNAs and different companies. I went to a company called My Heritage, and it cost, I think, £47. And they send you a little box, and you do a swab test, like you've seen on DSI on television shit, where they swab them in the cheeks. Well, you do a swab like that, you click it off, put it in a little tube, put it in the envelope and send it back. And then a month later or whatever, they'll send back and say, this is what you are, and that's where you came from, and this is your heritage, and blah, 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 fucking blah. Oops, sorry, I swore. But there is a lot of different companies. Ancestry do one.
Right. I was just saying that there's a lot of companies that do it. How do you know if they're reliable or not? Is it?
Well, quite honestly, I think they're all reliable. They're not going to cheat on you. Quite honestly, I think you can go for the cheapest. It doesn't make any difference. They're not going to cheat on you. It's not a scam. But if you go to Ancestry or My Heritage,
the well-known companies.
Yeah, the big companies. The only downfall going to My Heritage is they do your DNA and then they scam you a little bit because you have to pay some more money to see the pigging results properly. You can see them, but you can't check on them, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, it just gives you a basic result.
What I did was I had my DNA done.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you can do is you can go onto the site and download your DNA because it belongs to you. They can't say no. So you download your DNA and then you upload it to lots of free sites that do DNA.
Right.
Now, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You've got lots and lots of people doing it.
Now, Bibby's asking, do they give you a percentage of what you are?
Yeah.
So what do you know what you are?
I'm 57.8, not Scandinavian.
And rest,
I'm a Viking.
Human? you're a full human.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's not a monkey.
We know you're a
Yeah.
straight speaker.
No, I'm a Viking, really.
Yeah.
That's
Well, a
where
lot of us are Vikings, aren't we? A lot
paternal.
goes back to Vikings and Saxons, don't we, in this country?
No. You know,
Well, in
if
Europe.
you look at your if you get your DNA done,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at the percentages of what you've got, you can see where you're at. You know, it gives you a map. It doesn't only say, well, you're 56% this, 10% that, 5% this. You know, what I mean. It shows you a map of all the places you've come from.
Right.
You know, so like I say, over 50% of me comes from Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And a specific, quite honestly, it's a specific place in Denmark I come from, and all my paternal relatives all come from the same area.
Right.
You know, so
yeah, that's the same as that's the same as my grandfather and his family. They all came from Bradford. They were all there for a couple of generations. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
yeah, well, it can be. It depends on what you want to do with it, doesn't it? But
yeah,
saying, you know, I mean,
there's quite a few avenues you can go down in different directions, can't you?
There's lots.
I mean, my cousin did a family tree for us, and it you know, she spent years doing it. Similar to what you did, and she's got the old, and she sent me a graph, a chart. Sorry, not a graph. And I went so intrigued with it, I couldn't put it down. You know, looking and thinking, well, look at how they related to them so far down. You know, but I think she did it like you did, and did it the right way. You know, but I can imagine the main work has to be done with direct relatives. You know, like you say. I mean,
no, it doesn't have to be definitely direct relatives. It's nice if you can get the information from your relatives, because you know, you might have a brother who was more towards one uncle. You know what I mean? You might have been towards one of your aunties.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so you get different stories from different people of your relatives, and that's the way to go. So you start with yourself, and then you look at your mum and you look at your dad, and if they're still alive, you ask them the questions: who's your mum? Who's your dad? And if by any chance they're still alive, you go and ask them the bloody questions.
That's right.
And then you know, the more info you can get. Info is the key. Information.
And I suppose there'll be a certain amount of embellishment and all with certain people. Well, we've all got Uncle Franks who just make things, you know, or make things up as he goes along, you know. And it doesn't help us getting the true story out, does it? You know.
No. But the thing is, you know, there'll be stories in lots of the families, lots of the people who are on tonight. Well, there isn't a lot of people, but the ones who are on, there'll be stories within their family. You know, one might have said, "Oh, if you look at, I don't know, if you look at Joe, but in his background, there's a connection to Roy Chubby Brown." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there'll be stories that you're connected in different ways, and you'll have heard these stories, and nothing's gone in, and then all of a sudden you're doing your family tree, and you come across a record or you know, something in the newspaper or whatever, and it brings this. Oh yeah, I was told it was that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, it does. Yeah, 2 and 2 put together. You think, yeah.
Unfortunately, Bibby, it doesn't tell you if you're a puff, but if you want to know, I can tell you. I can I can read your palm.
Northern monkeys, southern puffs. That's what they used to. You're not allowed to be that anymore. We're not allowed to say that, but we've always said that for hundreds of years. It said northern monkeys, Southern puffs.
Well, you know why they call them northern monkeys, don't you?
Why is that?
You know about the monkeys
Oh,
up north.
right.
You know about them,
No.
surely. You don't know about the monkeys up north.
Not particularly, no.
Oh, right. I can't remember which seaside place it is, but it could be. I don't know what it's called now, but it'll come to me in a minute. But apparently, during one of the wars we had with the French, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
A French boat came up the east coast and started to raid the one of the Gateshead, I think it was, that area, and started to do the raping and pillaging shit.
Yeah.
And anyway, a British boat blew this boat to bits, and the people on the beach, when all the stuff came to the shore, there was a monkey. They'd had a monkey on the French
I've
ship.
heard of this before, where they have monkeys on boats.
Yeah, well, they found this monkey alive and because these English geezers had never seen a monkey, they presumed it was a spy.
Oh,
French
yes, I don't know the
spy.
story. Aye.
So they hung it.
The young it is a spy, yeah.
So that's why they.
Yes,
that's why they call them monkey hangers.
That's right.
There you go. You see.
It's
So
it came to me.
When
then.
you get there, you go. You've heard the story before, and then I've just triggered that. Davy T, you're exactly right, mate. Hartlepool.
Hartlepool, I think they call them monkey hangers.
Monkey hangers.
Yeah,
I've heard that. And that's the reason.
They were confused with this little animal that looked like a human in many ways.
Yeah, because they just thought it was
a spy.
They thought it was a French spy, so they hung the bugger. So of course, then the name stuck. Monkey hangers.
Monkey hangers, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it changed to Northern Monkey.
Well, it's that I presume. That the Northern Monkey bit came from that, probably. Yeah. That bit. But there's all these places around the country all have different names for different people, in different times. Do you know what I mean? A bit like when I lived in Brid, and I was a publican in Brid. On a Saturday, we used to say, "Oh, the town's full of comforts," and if you weren't from Brid, you didn't know what comfort meant.
Right.
And what it meant was the comfort day. So, of course, everybody who comfort day were a comfort.
Yeah, it's just it's slang, isn't it? And
it's just the way you pick shit
up.
Well,
that baby there, being a southerner, he'll know that, but only too well, because the southerners, they use that slang language all the time, don't they? Even today.
Anyway, just to I'm a swinger. You're not blocked at all. I did notice you jump up in my chat, but you've not really said anything interesting, so I've just ignored it. There you go. Well, say something interesting.
I haven't got any mods now, me than us.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it?
I've been into my settings and I've just cancelled them all.
Well, there you go. And then
that's the only way I could do it, because I didn't know what had happened.
That's the way to do it. And then I'm
starting afresh.
Just stick on. Get one. Put it in. Get one in your chat who wants to be one. Have you got anybody on, Bobby?
Yeah, have
you got plenty on? Or you've got to ask them first. You can't just say, "Hey."
No. Sharon's fine.
What I mean?
Sharon's fine. She's fine.
Yeah, we'll just go in and put Sharon as
I've still got Kelsey.
Well, there you go then. You don't need more than two, do you? Right,
then they'll do me.
Anyway,
we are now.
I'd trust Kelsey with my life.
Well, you won't be on if it weren't for Kelsey. She sorts you out all the time.
She does, man. That's it, Kelsey, tell Swinger, if asking questions, none of us can see her. him, it, or whatever it is, hair, because they're blocked. Okay. So there you go. That's why nobody can see I'm a swinger. I can see you. I can see you.
I haven't a clue
Nice.
what's going on.
Well, it's just I'm a swinger's in my queue.
Right.
Yeah. And nobody can see what she's putting because, and I'm always saying she, apparently it's a he, but I don't know. But the reason nobody can see him or her is because she's blocked them all. So they're not going to see her.
No.
Do you see what I mean? So it's all, there you go.
Well, Jeff Swan says, I'm a 90% twit and the rest is worse.
Yeah, good one.
I like that.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not an A. But there you go. Yeah, we all have these things that trouble us in life, and I'm just a gobby Yorkshireman.
Well,
I'm a gobby Yorkshireman.
we all are.
And unfortunately for me, and it's always been the same. Always is I've always gone like that before that gets in gear because my gob is faster than my brain. So there you go. I'm a swinger. You are nice all the time, and I'm not knocking it. But if nobody can see you, it's pointless, isn't it? If you see what I mean. Anyway, just sort of tell you about what were we talking about, Bobby? Because I've just got waylaid there. Sorry, matey. What were we on?
Genealogy. We were still on that.
All right, yeah. Just as a point of interest, I have started doing. I'm in the process. I haven't started, but I'm in the process of doing a channel on YouTube called Genealogy Guy, and I'll be going on there and giving people ideas on what they can do, and they can ask me to do some searches for them if they want. There's going to be a cost. There's going to be a cost for me doing the searching because it costs me to search, if you see what I mean. But yeah,
it's such an interesting subject because people always want to know about the families, don't they? Where they
they should. They should. It's nice to know.
So I think that'll be very popular, to be honest.
Well, I hope so, but I mean, it's taken me a little while to get it into gear.
To be honest, the first thing most people will see is these adverts on TV. Find your family tree and we can help you do it. But there must be other ways, that aren't going to.
There's plenty of ways, Bobby.
I mean, what do these courses charge? These bloody genealogy courses?
Well, lots of money. You don't want to be on genealogy courses.
So that's not the place to start.
No, you don't want to go on any bloody courses and have all these people
So
saying.
if somebody come along and says, "Paul, where do I start?"
Well, I'll tell them where they start. They start by creating a tree. But before you can create the tree, you get a great big notebook and a couple of pens and your phone that can record voices and go to your aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, people who are alive, and ask them, who was your mum, who was your dad, dates of birth and all that. If they don't know, they don't know, but you're going to glean bits of information from each one. And then you can say, well, my mum's mum was.
And you can, if you can speak to uncles and aunties, you can cross-reference that with your parents.
That's it. So you start it off by writing down as much information as you can. Get as much info as you can. And then, of course, another good one is old photographs, because, the older generation have old photographs.
Yes,
Younger generation don't have old photographs.
No.
The older end have photographs,
actual physical
pictures. And it's can I have a look at your family album, and you say, oh, who's that? And they'll say, oh, that's your granddad. And then you can use your phone, take a photograph of it, and then put on it on your photograph you've taken. Oh, this is my granddad Bob, and this is his wife Lily. You know, so you've got the photograph, you've got the proof, and of course, if people give you photographs, what you find is lots of people have photographs and they've got no bloody information on who it is.
Right.
So you need a pencil, okay, and it's a pencil you need, and you ask them, oh, who's this in the photograph? And because they know who it is, it might not say it on the back who it is, but they'll know it is. Oh, that's your Auntie Winnie. You turn the picture over and you write in pencil, Auntie Winnie. Do you see what I mean? Don't write it in pen. I mean, pen degrades, pencil degrades.
But I mean, in fairness, I got a tin full of pictures when my mum went. She used to collect pictures, of family pictures.
Yeah.
And they go back to 1940s, some of them.
Yeah.
And, majority of them had something written on back because she used to write on the back who it was or what it was. So people will find, if they can find old relatives who've got pictures, they can, if they can't tell you it is, it's, sometimes people used to put them in albums and write on the back of them.
They did, yeah. They used to, they write in the album who it was and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I say,
So that's your first starting point is to go
get
to
as much
information.
Information. Get as much as you can.
Right. So let's say you've gone back to your great grandfather and you hit a brick wall. What happens there?
Well, you won't hit a brick wall, will you, with your great grandfather? Because nobody might not be able to say his mother was this and his father's that. You haven't hit a brick wall. You've only hit a brick wall on what you're asking.
Right.
Then later on, you can put that information into a tree that you create online, and then it'll start saying, oh well, there's a Bob Williams who was born 1942 in Bradford, May in Bradford, and he was baptized there. And you look at the record and say, yeah, that's him, and you add it, and it'll add his father and mother, when he was baptized, where he was baptized. You see what I mean? So you're pulling out info because there's lots of info out there, uggins of information out there that you can get for free. You don't have to be paying hundreds and.
So your advice is don't sign up to one of these courses from day one.
You don't want no course.
No course. Do as you say. Get a notepad, a couple of pens, and ask questions.
Yeah, get as much info. And the biggest place where people make mistakes is they'll go and they'll say, oh, my great grandfather was Bob Staveley and his wife was Mary Staveley. Well, his wife wasn't Mary Staveley. She was married. A married name was Staveley. Yes, what you want is a maiden name. So you always go for maiden names. You never go on a woman. You never look for the married name. You know what that is because the bloke's second name is.
Yeah, you're not going to get past that surname, are you?
Well, no, you're not going to get any information because because you're looking for somebody who really doesn't exist in records. They'll exist in telephone directories, and they'll exist in census data, but they won't exist in birth records. What's the other thing when you baptism records, shit like that. So if you're lucky enough to find your great grandfather's name and it comes up with a marriage certificate, then of course you look at the marriage certificate, you get the maiden name from the marriage certificate. The marriage certificate will also tell you who their parents were, the fathers. It won't tell you the mothers, but it'll tell you the fathers. It'll tell you where they lived. And 9 times out of 10, if you look at who was the witnesses, you'll see that a witness was probably an auntie, an uncle, a brother, or a sister.
Yeah.
You know, so
Relative-
it
relative
gives you
validity,
lots and
isn't it?
lots and lots of info. Does
Yeah.
a
So
marriage
it's about
certificate.
using this, isn't it? It's about
Yeah.
thinking about what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah, and don't jump onto another big drawback is, you know, when you go searching and a record will pop up and it'll say, I found the record for Bob Wilson and Mary Wilson on a census, and it'll give you the basic info. It'll say, well, Bob was born in 1941 and his wife was born in 1942. Is this the one? And you just click yes, because it matches. And then
Yes.
it puts all this information in. And you haven't actually looked at the record. You've taken it for granted that what they're saying is what the record says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do need to physically look at the record that they're saying it is, because AI can get things wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and people who transcribe things can get things wrong. So they could, you know, Louise could be Eloise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because somebody hasn't transcribed it correctly.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you need to look at records. You don't just have to take the computer's word for it. That's what it is. So
Right.
save you
Right.
lots of time anyway.
Yeah. I know my cousin were obsessed with it and she were doing it like you were doing it.
The problem is it ain't cheap, Bobby.
No.
You know, when I before I retired, of course, I could afford to do, you know, I could afford to have My Heritage for a year and Ancestry for a year and Find My Past for a year. And, you know, and they're all like 150, 160 pounds a year to have an account with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was spending something like 600 quid a year just on
Getting
being a member,
information.
you know,
Mm.
so I can see the information. Now, because I'm now retired, it's a little bit
Yeah, it's
raw.
outside your.
Well, it isn't outside, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult. So I have to
Yeah.
pick. I'm not a member of all of them now. I'm just a member of a couple. So
Yeah.
I pick and choose which ones. And experience has told me, you know, you don't really want to be on that one because it doesn't tell you knack all. Because all the information that one's telling you can get from elsewhere.
It is. Maybe says it's a lot of money for information that should be free. It is. Yeah, it is a lot of money.
No, it's you know, quite a lot, baby. Oh, just bear with me a sec. Quite a lot of people.
Yeah, take this one off. Kelsey, JDP, you need to take it off.
I've taken it.
Right. Yeah, it costs a lot of money. Where were we?
Yeah. So
that's a lot of money for information that should be free, Bibby says.
Well, it is. Yeah. Quite a lot of the information you can get is free because it'll be Rat Boy. That's what it'll be. Anyway, because census records right up to 1911, you can get online free.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to say, you know, there's a thing called free CEN, which is free census. You can go on there, put the details in, and if it can find a census, it'll find it. Now, censuses go all the way back to 1811. You know, the 1811 ones don't give you a lot of info, but the further it comes in, the more info you get. But then you can get births, marriages, and deaths. You can search the whole of the UK for births, marriages, and deaths for free. So, you know, there is lots of information out there. The information that that costs is, you know, like newspaper editions and, you know, stuff like that, and seeing a marriage certificate. You can search. There's a free place where you can search a marriage, but you can only search the marriage. You can't see the document, if you see what I mean. And you want to see the document.
Yeah, of course you do.
Now, you know, if you could you could go to your local record office and sit, and you know, go and sit in their local records and look through, and then get a copy of the marriage certificate, but it's not going to be, it's still good. They're going to charge you for the copy of the marriage certificate.
Yeah.
So it's all these kind of things are chargeable. You could go to your local church, look at their records, because all churches have marriage, books with all the marriages in, books with all the baptisms in, books with all the, when they've dug holes and thrown them in, deaths, burials, births, marriages, deaths, burials, baptisms. Now the local church has those, and you can go and look at them. The church won't charge you to have a look. They don't charge. And there is one site that, if anybody's interested, which is the Mormons. They have Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. That's what they are, isn't it? Their site, everything on their site is free.
All right.
And you can actually see records and things. And of course, if you know where there's a local Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is, you can go to their church and you can ask if you can go and use their record things, because all these churches are all online. They've all got access to all the records. Do you see what I mean? So there is lots of places you can go where it's free. However, the thing with the what do you call it? What did I say? The Latter-day Saints one, the Mormon site, is anybody can change the information. It's a bit like Wiki. You can go into Wiki and you can change the information. Right.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I've seen that option.
You can. Now
so you can't be 100% with that. I mean, obviously they're not. It's got to be viewed by somebody before they let it go. But
no, they don't. They don't. I don't know about Wiki, but on the family tree thing, you can, Bob was married to Joe and Joe was married to Willie, and all that kind of shit. Whereas if it was your own family tree, the information you put in stays as your information. Nobody can change it.
Yeah.
On that family tree, which is a world family tree, people can change records. So somebody might have read a record that said Bob was married 1st of March 1922, and I've read the thing. And I've actually seen the record, which it says it's not the 1st of March. It was the 22nd of June, 1923. But somebody's already put in 1922 as the thing. Do you see what I mean? So
yeah.
You can't always take it for granted what's in the thing is exactly right. But most of it is anyway. So.
Very interesting stuff.
It can be.
I think that'd be popular if you did a little bit of. It'd be nice if you did a little video explaining just what you've told us.
I think I've done one, Bobby, but I'm not quite sure now. I'm just, like I say, I'm in the process of doing it. So
because not only it sounds silly, might sound silly to you, but people don't know where to start, and this is where these big companies, these history finders on TV that advertise, they rely on they rely on people being ignorant and lazy.
Well, not ignorant might be a little bit of a stronger word, but you can go on, you can watch TV programs now. Who do you think you are?
Yes, very popular shows, aren't they?
Well, they're done by, I think, Who Do You Think You Are is I think Who Do You Think You Are is ancestry.co.uk. They support that one.
Right.
But there's another one that My Family, I think it's called. I can't remember what it's. There's quite a few of them out there. There's one about DNA. There's one about finding things.
That's right. There's one about DNA.
Davina and that other Gadji.
Yeah.
They do a program. And it gets people hooked.
Paul, people don't know what Gadji is.
Well, I don't know his name.
For anybody who doesn't know in the chat, when he says Gadji, he means fella, means bloke.
Yeah.
It's an northern word.
Gadji, isn't it? But yeah, like I say, it piques your interest on TV, and
Yeah, it
people will
does.
say, "Oh yeah," and then they'll jump in and they'll pay the cheapest, 80 quid for 3 months or whatever, and then they've no idea what they're bloody doing.
Yeah.
So they need to talk to people who've got the experience on doing it. I've got 25 years nearly on doing my family tree, so I know where you make mistakes, and then
Yeah.
So
Kelsey says there, even
Paul.
even if you pay for every subscription, it's useless if you don't know how to use the tools on there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
These courses they do, they give you all these tools on their website, and
They do. There's lots of places where you can get lots of information, but if you don't know how to use the information, it's fucking pointless, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's pointless giving somebody 60 quid for 3 months, having access to, I don't know, the 1921 census.
Yeah.
And then you go searching for Bobby Williams from 1340 foot Bridlington, 1921 census. You'll find it. Yeah. But then you don't know if everything it's saying is true until you actually go and look at it. You know what I mean? So, anyway, so
you're taking their word for it.
Yeah. Ask Paul. That's the thing to do. I won't bullshit people. I'm not here to bullshit people.
You'll have to do a live on it. Questions and answers.
I'm gonna
a genealogy live.
You read me mind. You read me mind, Bobby.
No, it'd be a good one to do.
I'm thinking of doing one on a Sunday afternoon at 3:00.
Well, there you go, folks. Well, if anybody's interested, Paul's looking at doing that, and I think I'll tune in and I'll ask you a few questions. I'll try and catch out me.
Well, it's all right. I don't mind. The only thing you won't be able to do is ask private questions.
No,
it's no good going onto a live channel and say, "Can you have a look and see if my dad, who's Bob Wilson, born?"
But I think if you did a live and you started off just saying this is where you want to start. Anybody wants any questions about that? But do it in like chapters, can't you?
I am, I am in the process, but like I say, I do have other things in my life to do. So,
yes.
I know that Kelsey will put up a link.
Yes,
I know she'll put up a link, and you'll be able to see it, Bobby. But your stream won't be able to see it, will they?
No, I'll share your link.
You can just share the link.
Let people know. Yeah, of course I will.
Because there isn't a lot on it at the moment, but there is how I use DNA to find my father. Well, I didn't find my father, but my DNA story is, and there's 3 chapters on there giving you how I started, what I found out, where I found it, all that kind of shit.
Thank you, Kelsey. So, Kelsey's going to put it in both when she finds it.
There you go, then.
You're blessed with Kelsey, aren't you?
I am,
I tell you what, Kelsey, he'd be bloody lost, wouldn't he? Be useless without you.
I would. But that's been the story of my life, Bobby. I'm useless without a woman in my life. I always have been, and I always will be. And
we're all saying, mate. We're all saying we're no good without a woman.
I'm just going to put up a thing from Friday night. We had a bit of a get together on Friday night. Yeah. Last Friday night. So just bear with me a sec.
Who had the calamari? It was for the table. I didn't eat any calamari, so I'm not paying for any calamari. What are you, 7?
There you go. There you go. Kelsey's put it
genealogy linking.
Yeah, genealogy guy. I could have said that, couldn't I? But there you go. But, it's like I say, it's there if you want to have a look, and I'll be adding stuff on. And now what I plan to do.
I didn't know you that channel. I didn't know you had that channel, Paul.
I only started it last week, I think, mate.
That looks too professional to be you.
Are you on it?
Yeah, I've been on the link.
It's good, isn't it? I'm impressed.
I'm surprised how professional you sound.
Well, I can be, can't I?
Well, I mean, I've only clicked on it for about 30 seconds, and there's no swearing, so that's
No, there's none at all. I can tell you
it's
now on that
positive.
channel. There's no swearing.
Yeah, so folks, yeah.
So there you go.
Anybody wants to subscribe to that channel, Paul's second channel, Genealogy. What's it, guy?
Genealogy guy. Yeah.
Genealogy guy. And is that where you'll do do you think you'll do a Q&A on there, or are you doing it
Yeah,
on
yeah. No, I'll be on there. I'll be on there on a Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, I'm thinking.
Well,
I'm
look,
going to try to find out a decent day. And in my head, a decent day is a Sunday.
Maybe he's already subbed.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of subbed already.
Now, look, if you guys want to look out for the post that Paul puts up, the link to when he does it, I think it'll be great with that.
But yeah, so I'm looking at next Sunday anyway. But
right,
it'll be that you'll know before. So
because
KKK is already subbed.
KKK.
But yeah.
He can't change his name, you know.
Well, it's all right. I can cope with. I can go with KKK.
Yeah.
Sharon, good night, darling.
Just say to thanks again, Sharon. No, she wants us to say goodbye to your chat, Paul.
Yeah, Sharon's saying good night to everybody in my chat.
She's a diamond, is Sharon.
She is. I met her at the weekend. Girl. Met her Friday night. We sat and had a nice little chat.
She's got the biggest heart I've ever seen. She has. She's a great girl. Well, we're
diamond, I think a diamond, mate, don't you? We haven't done the quiz, have we?
I know. Well, we'll have to save it for next time.
Yeah. If anybody watched it,
you won't have to put it up and get a new one for next week. We'll save that one and let them
we'll
do
just
that.
keep that one on for next week because it's. Well, I'm not going to say because it's anything anyway.
Well, I'm going to go across to the
genealogy guy.
Can't even say it now. Genealogy
channel.
Guy, and I'm gonna check. And if he swears once, I'm going to pull him.
No, there's no swearing in it. I can tell you now. I have not sworn on that channel.
Go across, guys. Have a look.
But I was just going to say something. Anyway, it's gone, so it doesn't make any difference.
Right, so it looks like folks are getting ready to go.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up for an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll just say goodbye to a few in this chat. Kelsey, Sharon, Jeff Swan.
Yeah, good night, Jeff.
I'll say good night to you guys, and I'll leave Paul to say good night to his chat. And I will. I'll see you over at the Genealogy Guy channel. Yeah.
Please, I'll be looking forward to seeing
Inspector Gadget's coming late.
Right. Have you got a note? Inspector Gadget, have you got a note for coming in at this time of night?
Right. Well, I'm gonna have to go. So if you want to say good night to him, Paul, I'll leave you with it.
Yeah, good night, KKK. Kelsey, darling, good night. Bibby, good night. Just remember, folks, Bibby will be on live, I presume, a bit later on.
It's a great fun over at Bibby's.
Yeah, it is. I watched one this afternoon. It was a good laugh. Kelsey, KKK, Clary. I can't see anymore. I'm a swinger. Good night, darling. Even though you haven't said a great deal, I'm still going to say good night. David T, good night. There's lots of others and I can't see them all because I'm not all the way up.
Well, I'll say good night, Paul.
Yeah, Bobby, I've enjoyed it. We haven't talked about much.
We'll see you guys same time next week. Have a great week, folks, and I'll catch you soon, Paul.
We've only talked about myself. I feel a bit embarrassed now.
I've enjoyed it, mate.
Anyway, there we go.
You're playing us out.